Internet trolls of Reddit, what's the biggest show you've ever caused? A few years back I came across a UFO, alien abductee survivors forum whilst at work. A couple of co-workers and I had a good laugh at some of the stories and blurry photos of frisbees, believing it was all BS. Later that evening I decided to set up a troll account. I made up a story about mystery UFOs flying over my hometown and posted it in the forum. I decided to play the long haul game and spread it over a few days, then drop the act and reveal the hoax. The next day at work props were made and the following evening blurry out of perspective photos were taken. I worked at a small brewery at the time and brewery equipment can make some rather convincing sci-fi props. It was then decided, at this point it grew into a team effort, that some fake social media accounts needed to be made for even further proof. Wikipedia pages were made, threads on random boards like Mumsnet were made, and photos galore were posted. People starting joining in the fake accounts. People we didn't know started seeing these imaginary UFOs. The lie suddenly just took off. Then a local news website caught wind and posted an article which escalated the hoax to the next level. We had bona fide proof. After around 10 days I was ready to drop the bombshell on the original community. The problem was they didn't believe me. Apparently I had been gotten to by some EB types, or had been reprogrammed following an abduction, or some other equally ridiculous conspiracy. The joke had gone full circle. No matter what proof I posted, that I had made the whole thing up, I was seen as the idiot who didn't believe the truth. The photos I had saved of the actual props in real perspective were passed off as fake. The fake social media accounts were seen as suddenly hacked. It was crazy. I could do nothing but walk away. I learned a good lesson though. Don't try and troll the truly insane people. I tried to troll the UFO community and did too good a job. The hoax became fact and I became the trolled. When I was an edgy little 14-year-old I'd put my dad's laptop beside the family computer, log into different Club Penguin accounts on each one, and have my two penguins stand on opposite sides of a room having an argument with each other. Gradually, other penguins would join in. Eventually I could leave the room, play some games, and come back to find the argument still in full swing without either instigating penguin. This was especially entertaining during the 2008 presidential election. I once commented on a neighborhood Facebook page on which someone named Jose was flexing his salary in pickup truck. All I said was, "No way Jose," and it collapsed into racist death threats that got 25 users banned. The group admin quit and the cops called. That's a lame joke for such good results. Before Star Wars Episode 3 came out, I posted some BS spoilers on the Force message boards. I found some German magazine site online article about the movie, linked to it, and made claims about battle scenes on Kashyyyk, a scene with Chewie delivering babies, etc. I got on IMDb and looked up the name of some production director for episode 2nd and said he was the guy who provided the magazine with the info, as well as Peter Mayhew himself. I guess nobody on that site actually read German, so everyone just believed my BS. Well, it got so much attention that it got posted on the site's homepage and then got referenced on other Star Wars sites. Then, in some interview with Rick McCallum, who I think, they asked him about the rumors, and he got really confused and defensive. Not quite open internet, but ages ago in high school I discovered that Blackboard had a rather severe vulnerability with how it handled file uploads for homework submissions that would give you write access to anything it could access. It's since been patched. This was around 2003 to 2004. I used my newfound power to overwrite the Blackboard logo with an animated GIF of the same logo that was visually identical to the original. However, the GIF had a second frame and would switch to a picture of an angry hissing goose after several minutes. Why goose instead of pond or something shocking? Because I didn't want to offend anyone save from a particular couple of control freak lab administrators. And boy, did it ever work. They went absolutely apish trying to figure out where it was coming from. Yet neither of them realized that web browsers will happily display animated GIFs, even if their extensions are JPG. The stealth goose lasted the entire semester, only disappearing with an assumed reinstall of Blackboard over the break, which unfortunately patched the vulnerability. Argued with about half a dozen players in a ranked match about why crushes should be called hair crosses. Successful distraction. One time my friend and I posted a lengthy post on the Walking Dead subreddit about how Judith doesn't contribute to the group and doesn't deserve to survive if she doesn't help more. For anyone who doesn't watch, Judith is an infant and was born during the zombie apocalypse. People were RIP and stating the obvious again and again, like, what the F, it's a baby, she shouldn't have to work, she's an infant. I'm still cackling. I questioned whether or not The Wizard of Oz was a musical, and someone created an entire subreddit to discuss it and make fun of me. Back in my WoW raiding days, I was in a guild with weekly donation requirements for raw materials used in potions/food. The guild would then hand all of us consumables on raid night. The idea was to prevent people from being cheap on raid night by making sure people actually use them. The problem was that the potions we received most of the time were the cheap ones. I figured they were selling the materials for gold and then selling the gold for money. So I logged into my brother's account and sent the GM a message about buying some gold from him. He sent me his Skype info and I took screenshots of the whole discussion. I dropped the bombshell during raid night in Ventrilo with the screenshots and 50+ people in attendance. People were livid, and you just saw so and so has left the guild, as well as 30+ minutes of the GM and his wife being berated. The GM's wife yelled at me in Ventrilo, and I said, that's what you get, you cheap potion having ass. We made a new guild called Cheap Potions. Back when I was around 12 years and Roblox wasn't that big. So I was in this Germany nation group, basically a Robloxan group, where you can roleplay as being a citizen of Germany, which had like 10k members. I had a pretty high rank in the group. There was tensions between Germany and another Italian group, but things were settling down. I eventually decided to go to the Italians' place and begin killing everyone. I started a full-scale war which lasted for around 2 months. Would do it again. There was a fire drill in the dorm next to mine. This was by far the biggest dorm on campus. 12 stories I think. While everyone was outside, I made multiple posts to yak about how the sprinklers went off. I did so in varying styles and left comments on my own posts. This was before Yak marked different users, so you could act like multiple people. Soon other posts were going up pissed about it and threatening to sue whoever set the sprinklers off / the school. It was pretty amazing. Honorable mention, I was telling my roommate about my yak jinx. After one such story he exclaims, you're responsible for the orgy in Seoul. Yep, I had started a rumor about an orgy in the stairwell for another of the high rises on campus. I walked by the stairwell and there were some people seeming confused looking in as they walked by. It was amusing. I miss yak. I got into an argument with some guy on an Australian friend's Facebook status. I do not live in Australia. It escalated and he ended up private messaging me, saying he'd beat me up and so forth. I looked at his profile to see where he lived and worked, and looked on Google Maps to find a supermarket or something in that area. Told him to meet me there and settle it like a man. About 20 minutes later he starts asking where I am and cussing me out for being a pussy and not showing up. I'm sitting in bed, it was like 10 PM my time, in an entirely different country laughing my ass off. When I was in college I invited my entire friends list to a party that randomly showed up on my newsfeed a mutual friend was going to. I also said to bring friends. Apparently a horde of like 30 dudes rolled in and started drinking all the beer and the host flipped out when he realized he knew like no one at the party at his house. Apparently they tried to throw out my Facebook friend horde and they in turn threw him out of his own party. Dude then called the cops and like 7 people got arrested. Back in 2013 I started a satirical petition to prohibit men from driving that got a bit of news coverage and that some people completely missed the point of. In many public schools, there are dress codes that prohibit students from wearing tank tops, tube tops, and shorts that are deemed "too short," as these could distract male students. If men can be this easily distracted by women's bodies, then this raises a variety of safety concerns. I got quite a bit of hate mail. It was my fault the White House petition site wouldn't be taken seriously, and petition signature requirements would be raised. I was a misandrist. I didn't have any idea how important men driving was to the economy. Someone should track me down and teach me a lesson. Fun stuff. It was originally a link I posted to my Tumblr, so I was very careful to limit identifying personal info for a while. One time I caused a war on a Garry's Mod server. I gave a few people some guns and said the gamers will rise up. We went around the server and shot anyone who tried to stop us. Everyone did agree except for this group of edgelords. Eventually it was the entire server against this group, and the entire server was launched into chaos. All because I shot a guy and said gamers rise up. Back in my Black Ops 2 days, my buddy and I would play hardcore team deathmatch and flashbang our own teammates, but we would do it discreetly. Well, this one dude in particular became enraged when I flashed him, and he demanded to know who it was. My buddy blamed it on a random person in our team who had a microphone, and he denied it was him. I then proceeded to back my friend up by saying he lied, and it was in fact him. The victim and scapegoat were yelling at each other and calling each other every cuss word in the book, and eventually the victim got kicked for team killing the scapegoat too many times. I sent him a message afterwards admitting it was me. On a popular guitar forum many years ago, I shared that while seeing the show of a guitar legend, it was too loud to really enjoy. It was an absolute show of name calling, death threats, and flat out walls of stupidity. People were sad, mad, disgusted and ashamed that a guitar player would criticize the volume of a god. It was two 100 watt Marshall amps with two 4x12 cabs running full tilt with Robin Trower at the helm. He's not known for a quiet show. It was a nightclub that sat maybe 100 people. Tiny venue. I was no more than 25 feet from the cabinets, pointed right at my head. It was brutal.